So I teased this video just the other day on the EDC Weekly, and I am not kidding when I say I'm so excited for you guys to finally get a chance to look at these. They are sick. John Smith, the man who makes them, 875 FPS over on Instagram, he's too humble to admit how cool these are. So I have to do it for him because they're really, really neat. And if you talk to anybody, everyone I've shown these to so far are like, wow. So this video is talking about custom Swiss Army knives from John Smith, also known as Brasswerx or 875 FPS. Let's do the thing. Obviously, as you can see here on the table, there's more to this than just a couple of knives that he's customized. There are also pry bars and cap lifters and other stuff. We're gonna get to all that, but before we do, I want to give a little backstory because it deserves a little backstory. This whole sort of setup deserves a backstory, and that's because I started EDC back in like 2014. I started getting into it and making some EDC videos myself, and then when I started the EDC Weekly, one of the first people to jump on that bandwagon and submit was John Smith. I found him through Instagram, or at least through his submissions, followed him on Instagram, and before he submitted, I had no idea this deep, wide world of EDC actually existed. I knew people sent me their submissions, but it was John Smith who introduced me to the wide, wide world of custom, everyday carry, and handmade goods. And it is a really, really deep pool of people who build some really, really cool things. They make knives and wallets and just all sorts of really cool gear. And it is John Smith who introduced me to that. He doesn't believe me when I say it, but it's 100% true. John is the guy who introduced me to stuff like this, not only through his own work, but through his everyday carry. If you've seen him featured on the EDC Weekly, he has all custom gear all the time. He's got one of the most badass everyday carries out there, and he's just too humble to admit how cool his gear is and how cool his everyday carry is. So I have to do this for him, and I want you guys to go check out his stuff. So before we get started, go give him a follow on Instagram. It's 875 FPS, and his website is linked there. It'll be linked down below. It's Brasswerx. That's what the BW stands for on all of this gear. It's also on this copper cap lifter. It is not on the Swiss Army knives. I just wanted to tell you guys that backstory, and now let's take a look at these sweet, sweet knives. So here we are with Brasswerx Gear. These are just some of the things that John offers. Let's start not with the Swiss Army knives because I know that's what you guys want to see the most. We're just gonna power through these pry bars and cap lifters really quickly. So this right here is one of the more recent items he's added to his store. This is the BWS AK lifter. And these are actually made from the discarded or damaged versions of the scales that he gets in. So he has these in copper, titanium, sometimes brass, and the actual original ALOX scales. So if you wanted to, you know, rep a cap lifter that looks like your old standard Victorinox, then you could order that from John. These are just $25, and I believe you can either get them with the cross or the 1/4-inch hex wrench in case you wanted that. I think that's an option. So really neat option, just 25 bucks. Great little stocking stuffer if you want to get something cool for somebody they love copper or brass or titanium or anything like that. And these are probably his best selling items. I'm gonna leave this one to the side because I believe this one is a brand new item as well. This is the one I've been carrying. This is the BW pry bar. They are solid bars of brass. They are really, really nice, heavy, weighty, solid. They're really, really neat. They come in two different lengths. This is the 3-inch. This is the one I purchased myself. And then he also sent me a 4-inch version. And there are, I believe, a few customizations you can make, like you can do polished or patinaed. Obviously, both of these are patinaed. This is more of the polished finish. So there are different options in finish, but also you can have this lanyard hole filled with a shell casing. So instead of just having that straight hole, you can get shell casing in the very end of it. Really, really neat. He puts his little logo on there. He stamps it in, BW. And personally, I just love the way the patinaed ones come. They look really, really nice with that dark black on them, and they're just gonna look better and better over time. This eventually will patina itself. So this one is a little different. This one's about an 1/8 inch thick, whereas these are a full 1/4 inch thick. And that's your major difference other than it being a little shorter. I think this one is about 2.5 inches. Of all the pry bars that he sent, this right here, the 4-inch patinaed pry bar with the the shell casing. It's just, it puts a little extra touch on it and just makes it something a little cooler than just a flat bar of brass. Either way, it feels really cool. For no other reason than just a giant hunk of metal. I said the same thing about the Griffin pocket tool. It's just a giant piece of metal that you hold in your pocket and hand. I hold it and tinker with it when I watch TV or when I'm editing videos. It's just neat, and it's gonna get scratched up and beat up, and I'm not gonna care because they're only about 30 bucks. And that's not bad at all. I highly recommend if you know anybody in the EDC community and you're not sure what to get them for Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, I would say consider one of these. And I know John's a little back ordered right now, so you might have a little bit of a wait. So the sooner you order, the more likely it would be to arrive on time. But I can't speak for John. I know that he's gonna be a little slammed this holiday season, but highly recommend these pry bars. They're really, really neat. To get to the stuff that you really, really, truly wanted to see, and what I'm really excited to show you, these are the BWS AKs. So customized Swiss Army knives. He sent me a copper one with stonewash tools. I requested both of them to have stonewash tools, and I absolutely love these. They are very solid. You got that nice copper smell, and they just, oh man. And this is the titanium one. And the only difference between these two, this is the Pioneer X and this is the Pioneer. So the major difference there is this one has scissors and the other does not. But the other difference is this one is just a Pioneer. That's pretty much all there is to it. He customized the Pioneer X for me and put the electrician wire stripper blade on there instead of what comes on the traditional Pioneer X, which is a can opener, which I can't recall ever using. I've used them before, but on my Pioneer X, I've never used the can opener. So you can see these side by side. These are the same knives other than that one customization. And on the back side, you have that 1/4 inch hex pick wrench. The customized versions are quite a bit thicker, maybe about a 1/16 of an inch. So not a huge difference, but if you carry one of these in a slip of some sort, then you're probably going to notice that tiny little bit will stretch it out. So if you ever switched back to your original Pioneer X, it would be a little loose in that slip. So just something to be aware of. The other thing is, I believe these are the phosphor bronze spacers. So instead of just having the silver spacers in the back, you've got phosphor bronze spacers, and you can see those right there. They got that nice copper look to them. And on the titanium version, it's got just the straight bronze spacer. So it's a little more yellow instead of that copper tone to it. Really, really neat. They are heavier, obviously, much heavier. The titanium one is lighter than the copper one. Again, obviously, but even the titanium one is gonna be a little heavier than the Pioneer X because it's titanium and aluminum is lighter than titanium. I'm just gonna walk you through some of the tools here on the Pioneer X. It's everything you should be able to expect on a Pioneer X. So the flathead and cap lifter. You've also got the customized electrician blade. You have your scissors, which are a little more tough to get out than the original, just because it's just a little, I don't know, maybe it's the electrician blade that makes it a little harder to get to. You've got your main blade. And then the very last tool is the awl. And these are all stonewashed, and you can leave them polished just like on the original. So you could do copper with polished tools, or you could do titanium with polished tools, but I much prefer stonewashed everything. It's just my preference. So you can customize these however you want. And that is one thing to note. I'm gonna show you his website really quickly if you go to this. So these both start at $175, and the different customizations will cost you a little more. So that's something to be aware of. But the other thing is there is a special edition coming out in January 2019. That is a topo edition. So it's just like this one with the titanium scales, but it's got a topographical engraving on it, and it is really, really nice. Can't seem to scroll over here, so we're gonna have to zoom in there. You can see, really, really neat. Those are $225, but both of these start at $175, and I'm just gonna show you how you can choose a few different customizations for your tool. So you can choose from an electrician, a farmer, a harvester, a Pioneer X, a rancher, and then that is the final version that you can choose. But then you have a cross cutout on both sides instead of the 1/4 inch driver or wrench. You have stonewash tools, which is an add-on. That is a $30 add-on. The cross cutout is a $40 add-on. Combo tools. So replace the awl with a combo tool that's $21, which is probably a good thing to do. I don't know anybody that uses the awl. The electrician blade is a $10 add-on, which replaces the can opener. So you can add scissors. You can remove an entire open layer. You can add the brass liners. So the 2 layers, the brass liners are $10. If you want the phosphor bronze, that's $10. If you do it for a 3-layer knife, that's $20. And then you have factory key ring, brass key ring, phosphor bronze key ring, and then a pocket clip. For a stainless pocket clip is just $10. And then you have a saw and a Phillips driver. And the Phillips driver is the most expensive at $50 for the add-on. And you just have to consider that when he takes one tool from another Swiss Army knife and adds it to yours, he's got an incomplete knife. So that's an expensive customization to make. $175, I think that's a great price for all the work he does. And these, I should show you and say, there is a disclaimer with these. They come with Torx screws that you could very well take out with a little Torx bit driver. I would not recommend it. John does not recommend it either, because if you're not familiar with how these work, these are springs. These are very high tension springs. That's why they snap when you open them. And when you close them, those are the springs are putting force on those blades. So if you popped out these screws, this thing would probably fly apart and you'd probably never get it back together. You'd probably have to ship all the parts, if you could find them, to John. You need special tools to be able to get these things back together. So while it would be nice to be able to swap the scales on these, that's something I would probably do, I can't, because I don't have the tools to put them back together. So that is just something to be aware of. Do not take these apart if you get them. I just want to show you a couple things, like how I've been carrying them or how you could carry them. One great solution would be the Does All, which you could carry your copper i3T EOS with your copper Swiss Army knife, and oh boy, copper all the things, right? Now they just need a copper Fisher space pin. They make a copper Fisher space pin for the cap, but if you order the copper one, you get the matte black pin with the copper cap. There's no solid copper option, which is a shame. These also fit just fine in a pocket organizer from Yellow Birch Outfitters, or anything of the sort. These are great for organizers, but I don't want to carry it free floating in my pocket. So for the Pioneer X version, I've been carrying this in the pocket armor from Pop-Off Leather. It fits in there and it's got a little wiggle room. So it's not super tight in there, but it fits just fine. This is what I was teasing on the EDC Weekly just the other day. But I carry the Pioneer in the proper slip from Hitch and Timber. Fits just fine and it doesn't stretch it out. So if you have a Benchmade proper, you can carry this one day and then you can put your Benchmade proper back in here and it's not going to be loose in that slip. So there you have it. There are just some of the tools from Brasswerx. Personally, between these two, I can't choose, man. I cannot choose my favorite between the two. So I want you guys to tell me what your favorite between copper and titanium is down in the comments down below. So there you have it. That's Brasswerx and his custom Swiss Army knives. They are so nice. I imagine I am not going to leave one of these behind for a very long time. They have a place in my pocket now. They're just really neat. I like having a Swiss Army knife, but these are next level. Check them out. Purchase one if you are interested, but definitely go follow him on Instagram. It's 875FPS. He is doing a massive 10,000 follower giveaway, and it's bigger than anything I've done, I'm pretty sure. So definitely worth checking out and definitely worth trying to get in on. Go do that. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, be sure to hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future. If you've got anything else that you'd like me to check out like this, let me know about it. Also hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos, and be sure to follow us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at BestDamnEDC. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at CasperTech. And of course, if you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc. With all that said, until next time, carry on.